The world sees missiles, airstrikes, and military warnings, and calls it a new war. But the confrontation between Iran, Israel, and the United States did not begin today. Its foundations were built across decades of revolutions, secret alliances, nuclear fears, and regional power struggles. To understand what may happen next, we must return to where the story truly began.
Iran and Israel were not always enemies. Under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran was a major American partner and maintained discreet strategic connections with Israel. They shared concerns about Soviet influence, hostile regional powers, and access to energy routes. The relationship was rarely celebrated in public, but behind closed doors, their interests often aligned.
America viewed the Shah as a pillar of stability against Soviet influence. But many Iranians saw a monarchy protected by foreign power, strengthened after the political crisis of 1953, and supported with money, weapons, and intelligence cooperation. Modernization transformed the country, yet inequality, political repression, and resentment toward Western interference created pressure beneath the surface.
In 1979, the pressure erupted. The Shah's monarchy collapsed, Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile, and the Islamic Republic replaced Iran's Western-aligned order. Israel was recast as an ideological enemy, while the American embassy hostage crisis destroyed relations with Washington. In a matter of months, former partners entered a new age of hostility. Iran developed relationships with armed and political groups across Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Palestinian territories, and Yemen. Tehran described this network as resistance and strategic deterrence. Israel and the United States viewed it as an expanding system of proxy warfare and encirclement. The confrontation was no longer limited to three governments. It spread across an entire region. Iran maintained that its nuclear program served peaceful purposes. Israel and several Western governments feared that advanced enrichment could bring Tehran dangerously close to weapons capability. The 2015 nuclear agreement temporarily restricted the program, but diplomacy later weakened, sanctions returned, and verification became more difficult. The nuclear question transformed rivalry into an existential calculation. Long before missiles traveled directly between Iran and Israel, an invisible war was already underway. Cyber attacks disrupted infrastructure. Nuclear facilities faced sabotage. Scientists and commanders were targeted. Iranian-linked positions in Syria were repeatedly struck. Each side attempted to weaken the other without crossing the threshold of open war. But that threshold was steadily disappearing. After October 2023, the regional system began reacting like a chain of connected explosives. Fighting in Gaza intensified confrontation along the Lebanese border. Armed groups in Iraq and Syria targeted American positions. Houthi attacks disrupted Red Sea shipping. Every response created another response, drawing Israel, Iran, and the United States closer to direct confrontation. America's involvement is driven by several overlapping commitments: Israel's security, protection of American forces, nuclear non-proliferation, Gulf partnerships, and the defense of international shipping. Washington may seek to prevent a wider war, yet its bases, aircraft, and naval forces place it directly inside the conflict. Deterrence can prevent escalation, but it can also create new targets. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow passage with global consequences.
a major share of the world's seaborne energy trade moves through these waters. Military disruption could raise shipping costs, increase oil prices, and spread economic pressure far beyond the Middle East. This means a local confrontation could rapidly become a global crisis without armies crossing a single border.
By 2027 or 2028, several futures are possible, not guaranteed. Diplomacy could create a fragile nuclear and security agreement. A permanent shadow war may continue through cyber attacks and limited strikes. A renewed nuclear crisis could trigger another major confrontation. Or miscalculation could connect Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and the Gulf into a wider regional war.
The struggle between Iran, Israel, and the United States may not produce a simple victory. Nuclear uncertainty, proxy networks, strategic waterways, and domestic politics could keep all three trapped inside a cycle of deterrence and retaliation. The decisions made before 2028 may determine whether that cycle is contained or whether the next chapter becomes far more dangerous.